I'm here.
I think you're just waiting on McDohl then?
I'm here.
Alright, let's go ahead and get rid of the lizard.
Let's shake this gnome some more.
No!
Everybody go and take the benefits of a long rest. Are all 4 of you getting spell slots back on this rest?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And none of you messed with anything in this guy's lab over the course of the night, right?
No.
No.
One sandwich was made and space was cleared for one gnome to sleep.
Okay. When you regain your spell slots, one of your spent spell slots, I want you to put an asterisk next to it. And then tell me when you attempt to cast a spell using that slot.
Okay.
Okay.
Can we do that on D&D Beyond? Can we
Got to figure out some way to do it.
I'll just make a note here.
make a note? Well, you know what? Let's get started right away then. I cast Goodberry and give everyone a Goodberry. Maybe?
Going right into it, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, give me one. I was not expecting this to happen immediately. But
You should know better by now.
should I?
Well, you killed my character last time, so, you know. Gotta change how I play.
You don't have to. Roll percentile dice.
Roll percentile. Alright. Metal is... That was not a roll. That's a roll. 78.
Okay. You cast the spell. The spell goes off correctly. You hand out good berries. You give one to the gnome.
Yeah, I'm feeling charitable.
You place it in his hand. He leans forward and kind of sniffs at it. You can't look at it. He doesn't have any eyes. Sniffs at it.
Good bear.
How good is it?
Pretty good.
I'll be the judge of that. He swallows it.
Alright, that's all he's getting.
And then he holds his hand back out.
Nope.
After you discharge the spell, the magic flows through you and creates the good berries in your hand. And usually when you cast a spell, that's where it ends. The magic takes effect, takes whatever form you shaped it into. But you feel that magic hang around. And you feel it kind of cloak around your mind. And you become hyper aware of the other minds around you. By which I mean your companions and the best NPC ever. Like, if you focus enough, you can literally feel their own brains kind of floating around in their head. And for the next hour, you have resistance to psychic damage.
Anyone paying close attention to Connor notices that his eyes are darting around like crazy.
And then Mudgollet asks for his wand back.
Gustavus, it's in your pants.
Yes, I know.
Are you giving him his wand back?
No.
And he crosses his arms. Says, if I don't get my wand back, nobody eats breakfast.
We already had breakfast. We had good berries. That was breakfast. Let's go.
You eat your good berry?
No,
Okay.
but he doesn't know that.
Well, now he does because you're talking in front of him, presumably. Also, it's very rude to talk about somebody when they're right in front of you.
He got Florian murdered.
I know this, but we have work to do.
He says, well,
I think it's probably closer to manslaughter, honestly.
make yourselves at home, for without my wand I cannot speak the incantation that will take us through the door. Ha!
You literally took us through the door yesterday without your wand.
No, I returned through the door.
He's got you there, Gustavus.
Going and returning are different actions. Don't you even know that?
I'm going to take the wand out of my pocket and I'm going to throw it at his face.
And it clatters against his face. Ah! And he reaches down, and it takes him 2 tries to pick it up. And then he moves towards... Oops, let's roll my keyboard out here. He moves towards this door.
All right.
And he tells you that beyond this door is the retractable wall.
Okay.
And he holds out his left hand to Lucius once again.
Take his hand. Hold out back toward Connor, I guess.
Yeah. Links up with Lucius. Holds his hand up, or Alexander. I'm assuming we're all linking up.
And he touches the door with the tip of his wand and speaks some gnomish incantations, calling some of the nearby floating mathematical equations in midair to swirl about his head and his wand and flatten against the door, so it looks like they had been inscribed there. And then he removes his wand and he moves through the door just as he did before, linking each of you in turn. The room beyond... you guys are getting way ahead of me here.
Oh, sorry.
You kind of have to squeeze through the door because half of the doorway is taken up by some sort of mechanism. It's a flat stone wall, but there are grooves and divots and insets all along the back of it and the side of it that you can see as you come through, with all manner of bizarre mechanisms, springs and sprockets and cogwheels and whatnot. And attached to the back of this wall, here and here, are what look like 2 seats on little pegs that poke out of the wall itself. A little bit too low to be comfortable for a human, but where somebody would be able to sit and operate these mechanisms. And he pulls you through the wall, and he shows you. Behold! The marvel of dwarven craftsmanship, the retractable wall.
Gus gives a sarcastic golf
Oh
clap.
wait, which side are we on? This side of it?
Yes, you have to be. That's the only side you can be on.
Okay.
So you all
A
are
lot of
entering.
unrevealed space that is. I'm not sure how far to the wall we are.
And he explains that in times past, the retractable wall was meant as a trap. In the long, long ago, when these were dwarven treasure vaults and catacombs where they had interred their noble dead and hid their powerful artifacts and forged their mightiest weapons, they created this wall that could come to life and attack interlopers and then retract back to a resting state. But he says the danger of such a thing is long past. The wall can't be moved back into place unless somebody would speak the magic words. So under no circumstances, while you are in this room, should you speak the
Alex,
words.
stop him.
How?
As soon as he says, under no circumstances, Alex reaches over and grabs his mouth and holds it shut.
Roll initiative.
All of us are just him.
Just Alex.
Just
Oh.
us.
Oh, darn.
Because I feel like all of us would just die for this gnome.
What was your roll, Alex?
21.
21. So you clasp your hand over his mouth, and he mumbles for a moment, then bites your finger. Angrily.
I'm wearing gloves.
He wriggles free from you. Says, "Confound it all! You taste like oil.
Sorry.
Slight acidic taste, aftertaste.
Anyway, as I
So the
was
word that
saying,
we're not
at no
supposed to say in
point
this-
during this, while in this room, should you speak these words.
So, yeah, no, the words that we're not supposed to say in the room we're directly standing in right now. Yeah, no, I don't think we should.
As
Be
soon as
doing
he
that.
says these, Alex goes to grab his mouth again.
And the same thing happens again. He bites down on your middle finger. Ah, blast! Why do you keep doing that?
We're not saying the words.
No, of course you shouldn't say the word. That's what I'm trying desperately to explain, you pebble-headed ignoramus!
Don't explain it. We understand.
He points to the back of the room. Now, there's a couple... there's one of these alcoves that you've been seeing. Oops, where's my... There it is. In the center of the wall here that is open. There are 4 more that hopefully you can see the doors on the map. There's also a door... Oops. That's the wrong button. Oops, that's the wrong button. What's my keyboard at? What have I done? Okay. There's also a door here, and then a passage leading out here. And after being manhandled by Alex twice in a row, he says, "This is as far as I've agreed to take you. You're on your own from here."
Take care, friendo.
And he moves back.
And before he goes through the wall,
Mm-hmm.
or through the door, I'll say, wait, don't you want to know the news of the death of the Usurper King?
How do you ask him? Like, are you asking inquisitively?
How am I asking?
Like, are you implying that you have knowledge to barter with? Is that the idea?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to keep him from going through the door right now. I don't actually.
Okay.
And you know, if that doesn't make him stop, I'll motion to Gus to grab him. But I'm hoping to get him to stop walking back through the wall.
Okay, so you have an ulterior motive then.
Yeah.
Make a deception check.
Yep. That's 0.
A 0.
Yes.
And he tells you that if your investigation concludes anything that you think ought to be shared with a true and loyal retainer of His Royal Majesty, that you know where to find him.
Do you want me to stop him?
Yes.
And
Okay,
then
I'll grapple him.
all right, gotta make that roll.
I'm standing in front of the door. Gotta go through me.
He does, and he can't. And he rolled really low.
Does a 17?
Oh yeah, that's.
Yeah.
And he starts crying out, "Ah, cheaters and liars! Knaves, all of you!"
I'm gonna turn him upside down again.
You hold him upside down. And all of his stuff out of all of his pockets. Bits and bobs and coins and bits of twine and feathers and chess
Can I
pieces.
stop him like halfway when he's like only some of the stuff is falling out of his
No,
closet?
this is way too amusing to me.
Okay.
It's easier to hold him by the legs. I'm sorry. He squirms.
Look,
And
we
it-
just need to wait
that
here
is-
for us to come back to get us back through the door. And if we're not back in 8 hours, you can assume we're dead and go through the door on your own.
Stand here for 8 hours
It shouldn't be that long.
in the room with the retractable wall.
Yes.
But what if someone were to come in and say the words Rapid Starfall?
Alex, as soon as he says, "What if," puts his hand over his mouth.
And he bites your finger for the 3rd time.
At this point, I've moved my magical ring to that finger, so he just gets the ring.
Under no circumstances is he going to stay here and be quiet for 8 hours. That's just not going to happen. As soon as he's able, he's going to slip back through this wall. He's made that perfectly clear.
Matt, the player, wants to know the words desperately.
Oh, I can't convince him.
What are Lucius and Connor doing while they're
Just
manhandling the best NPC I've ever made?
Alex will just
just
I thought Happy
leaning
was
against
the
the wall, like
take a good
watching this debacle. That's what I'm doing.
Okay. Alex, coming over to this alcove. It's a small, empty stone alcove, and the entrance to it is a good foot up off the floor. It looks identical to the ones that have doors in place. There are two on either side of you, on to the north and south of you on this wall. You have smaller stone doors that look like they can be rolled aside, but this one, the door has been completely removed. And looking into it, it goes back about 7 feet, but otherwise it's just an empty stone cavity.
Okay.
Gus, do you unhand the poor man? Poor Mudgolid Lucidifost? Those are not the magic words. That's the guy's name.
Still sounds like a fake name to me.
Well, I guess you'll never know now.
What do you mean? We know where this guy lives.
Yeah, but you need an onomancer to determine his real name.
Ooh.
The biggest oof.
I'm gonna just hold him until I'm told otherwise by Alexander.
Alex is not paying. Like Alex gave up. He gave it his try.
Okay.
Right. So I'm still just holding this man.
Gustavus, let him go, and we'll carry on without him.
I'm going to just drop him.
He clatters to the ground in his pile of stuff and immediately starts snatching it all back up.
Yep.
And he mumbles something about you being a knave and your father's father being a knave. And then if nobody stands in his way, he moves back through the stone wall.
I'll step out of the way.
Okay, what's next?
We gotta work on your people skills, Gustavus.
I have perfectly adequate people skills when the people are not responsible for the death of someone.
You have adequate people skills for a person who worked as a thug for a crime lord in Dunfos. So yes.
All right. So I don't want to kill any of these guards. So I can make one person invisible. What else do we have?
Do I need to take my armor off? Probably need to take my armor off.
Well, I mean,
we need to invest in some like breastplates.
Nothing. Okay.
I have darkness. That's it. But that's, a little bit more than just surprise.
Yeah, I just want to get up there, get a good look at where the king might be, and then get out. I'd prefer if they didn't know we were here. Or something non-lethal like sleep, but I don't have anything like that.
Okay. I recognize, I just want, going forward, me as a player, I recognize that making the suggestion after the same suggestion got his previous character killed 1 session ago. But he has the boots. I think. Do either one of you have the ability to cast invisibility?
Yeah, I already said I can make one person invisible.
Okay, I think we should make Connor invisible.
Y'all gonna get my second character kill immediately? Oh my lord.
And then Alex kind of lean over. I don't really want to let him out of my sight if I can help it.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to say that I did make that suggestion, knowing that exact series of events got Florian killed. So, what do you want me to take my armor off? So how exactly do those boots work? By the way,
They just you don't make any noise. Out of character, they give advantage on stealth related to being hurt.
Yeah, and I have more hit points than Florian. So
right.
If you want to make him the fodder again, that's fine with me.
I mean, I can do it. I've got a +0 to my stealth, and that would negate the disadvantage if I put the boots on. So, and you can make me invisible. I've got full hit points. I got all my spell slots, plus the mystery spell slot. So, if you want me to go first, I promise I won't pick anybody up and shake them.
So you have
I'm gonna hold you to that.
this door here, the one you're standing next to, then there's the opening up here as well.
I promise that I won't do it without at least a 2/3 majority while we're in this dungeon.
Okay. So
I mean, the other option is we can go non-lethal against the guards.
Do we have some way to disguise our faces?
I think
Do you have
Secret
any-
does.
Yes, I know. I feel like
don't.
Not this morning. I didn't prep anything like that.
Like I said, I have darkness.
Do you?
That's all I got.
Hey Gus, do you have an extra like melee weapon that you're not using?
yes.
Let me just grab that. I can't really non-lethally shoot someone.
I pull my hammer off of my belt and give
It's
it
a
to him.
warhammer.
Yeah, it's a warhammer.
Alex, slings it over his back. Thanks.
I don't have anything like that, unfortunately.
All right, sounds like we're just heading forward.
So we're gonna try to roll this stone aside.
Yeah, sure. I'll give it a go.
I mean, is this a wall back here?
Nobody's actually come all the way up and checked it out yet.
What does 120 feet of dark vision give me?
That is where the room ends, but it looks different from the rest of the room. There are a lot of bizarrely shaped and sized grooves along the back wall and along the floor the last 15 or 20 feet or so. More detail than that, you're not going to get standing
Yeah.
this far away.
No, it's fine.
Hey, Alex, what do you have in your bag? Do you have any kind of cloth?
Yeah.
Okay, give me the cloth.
Sure, I'll give him some of that cloth that I stole from the merchant.
Okay. Lucius, do you still have a knife, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to cut masks, like bandanas, like to cover our faces. You know, I mean, guys, we're breaking into the palace here. We want to have at least some anonymity, right?
I don't.
Actually, I don't have a crossbow.
Guess how many people do you think have? How many 3-foot tall gnomes have firearms licenses in this city?
Yeah.
You're-
he's got a
you're-
point.
Put your gun up and use the hammer.
Put a bandana on the gun, they won't recognize it. What was your plan, to put a bandana on Scrappy if he was here?
I didn't know there was guards back here. We don't have Scrappy,
Oh.
so that's a moot point.
Where is Scrappy? It's been 8 hours.
I didn't give him command to return.
Oh,
I think we were going to go back to the barge after this.
It's actually been longer than 8 hours because you had to wait for
Yeah.
him to wake up in the morning.
Maybe 12 at this point.
So it must be well into morning or closing in on midday above in the city.
All right, look, my opinion is just don't kill anybody. And
All right.
do the best of it. Maybe we get some darkness if we need it. I just
Alright.
wanted to have this discussion before we started throwing spells and bullets out.
You know, Lucius. All I have is this crossbow. That's literally it.
Okay.
all right. Look, I promise I will try not to kill anything. But if there's like a fae or a fiend or something,
What's wrong with Faye?
don't. No. No.
He just starts taking. He just starts like.
No.
What is
What's
this
wrong
guy's
with the fiend?
problem? There's plenty wrong with fiends. Look, no offense personally, Lucius, but
I'm opening this.
Okay,
while
make a
they're
strength.
arguing.
Make a strength check.
Oh, no offense, huh? No offense. Right.
you're not a fiend, Lucius.
12.
12.
What's up, Doctor?
It's difficult to get a good grip on the stone because, as I said previously, the handles attached to these doors have long worn or rotted or fallen away. And you can feel that it will move, but it's going to take a considerable amount of strength. There is
I'll
space
hand
for...
you a crossbow. Or crowbar.
There's not really anywhere to put a crowbar to give leverage.
Mm.
It's going to just take raw strength. There is space for two of you to stand at the stone, though. And it's not as large as the previous one that you saw that entered into the gnome's living quarters.
So, Connor, do you have noodle arms? Because these two jerkholes have noodle arms.
How would Connor reply to that?
I don't
In the
know.
Mountain Wilds, I don't have noodle arms.
Then get your not noodle arms over here and help me push. Oh, I'm gonna
That's
try
what he-
again.
That's what he says.
Okay. Well, Connor can make the check at advantage if Gus is helping
Okay.
him, because Gus has already tried and failed.
Oh, okay. Is it a strength check?
Yes.
Here, have a cigarette first. I'll help clear your mind.
Cigarette's a D4.
Tiny D4.
That is a 12.
Go ahead
12.
and add +5 to that.
That is a 17.
And it feels like it's not going, but something about the cigarette you're smoking, and how did you give him more plus on top
Snap
of
my
that?
fingers and point at him.
And suddenly you feel something give away as you're pulling downward on this stone, and Gus is on the other side pushing upward. And it shakes and gives way. And then after its first initial move, it rolls fairly easily to the side into a groove in the right hand of the wall, revealing stairs leading down.
I feel like this is not the way we need to go. If it's going down.
Something of agreement, yeah.
This passage right here is. Let's check this one out.
Looking in this passage here, it turns a corner here. And who's doing the checking? Alex? Like, who am I describing this to?
Yeah, Alex is fine. I was
Okay.
gonna check the back wall, but I'll look down that way first.
So for 20 or so feet, it looks like the hallway was supposed to continue forward from this point, but it's collapsed in. This back wall here is completely, it's just a pile of rubble. Next to it, though, to the right, you see where the stonework looks much newer, and you no longer see the telltale signs of dwarven make. It's like this south-facing hallway is a completely different style than this west-facing one, and they just happen to intersect at this point.
Does the south-facing one, from my knowledge of archaeology, look like more modern Dunfoss construction?
Oh, I mean, it's not new by any stretch, but it's not ancient
modern.
either. It would be from, like, you could imagine this kind of structure being built underneath the palace.
Stonework changes up ahead, looks like what you'd expect inside the palace. I'm going to check the lip of this chamber where it kind of narrows off for traps.
Okay.
Looking for tripwires,
Make a
push pedals, that kind of stuff.
wisdom saving throw.
Yep. Is this against magic?
Yes, it is.
Uh, 15.
Okay. Looking at this alcove in the back, just looking over it, it looks, its purpose is fairly apparent. This is where the retractable wall would sit when it's fully retracted. And the divot you're looking at that runs this little lip, in the center of it is this coppery metal inlaid into the stone of the ground. And written there are the words Raffit Scarfal Elgrav Crocgrius Forial Locad Desorlum. And as you're looking at it, it's a dwarven script. And for a moment, you feel compelled to read it aloud. And you get about halfway through before you catch yourself and realize what it is you're doing.
Everybody close your eyes, now.
Lucius closes his eyes.
Gus closes his eyes.
Why
Why
are
are
we
we-
closed our eyes? Why are our eyes closed?
There's a magical trap in the room. It almost compelled me to speak what I'm assuming is the command word for that wall. Whatever you do, do not carefully inspect the northern alcove. And Alex puts the coin in his pocket to douse the light.
Okay.
And then is there any dust or dirt in this room?
Oh, absolutely.
Then Alex scoops up some dirt and uses it to obfuscate the first word of the command.
Yeah, it only takes a few moments. You manage to find some soot, some dust, and smear it across the brass plate where the first word is.
If it's
inscribed.
relevant, Brick, I did have to use my reaction to Flash of Genius that saving throw. So if I wasn't able to do that for some reason, it
No,
was
that's-
only a 10.
We're not on initiative right now, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay, just making sure.
Okay, what's
And
next?
okay, you can open your eyes. I covered up the first word.
Excellent.
I still wouldn't look at it. I don't know if the visually covering it's going to stop the trap, and I'm not going to spend any more time with it if I can help it. And Alex positions himself so that no one can see the word that he's covered, even between even if it dust didn't work.
Lucius
I mean, I
makes a
can-
blinder with his right hand to his right eye as he walks to turn the corner.
Alex pulls out a jackhammer from the bag of holding.
If you want, I can cast the spell to discern more about the trap.
I think I just want to avoid setting the trap off.
Okay.
What's next?
This way?
Yeah.
Okay. Toss me the coin.
Gus, you get to this point, and you don't have a light source when you're moving forward, yes?
I mean, I turn
I
around.
toss him the coin as
Right,
soon
right.
as he
But
uses it.
before you toss it to him, you did not have a light source. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So what you see from around the corner is the flickering of dim orange light, as though from a torch or a candle, flashing across this wall here.
I'm going to motion for him to not toss me the light.
Okay.
And tell him to douse it instead.
Yeah, it was in my pocket before that, so I just leave
Yeah.
it.
In a whisper, and be like,
So we don't have any sources of light?
Nope.
No.
Oh, then
Why
in
would we
that
need
case-
light?
Okay, in that case,
we
contact
did
outside.
we did until recently. Yeah.
Okay.
The world's best spell. Dark vision.
Dark vision.
Yep, we gotta
There
use
should
it.
be, like, this is the problem with 5e. Like, there should really be at least one race that just gets dark vision innately.
I mean, really? Honestly, you're right.
Out of what, they have 30 playable races now? Give one of them dark vision, that's all I'm saying.
And I'm going to back up.
Okay.
So who's putting the boots on and who's going in?
I mean, I can do it if I take off my armor. I'm pretty quiet.
I would.
I can do it. Connor wouldn't sigh.
I actually legitimately, me as a person, feel bad about bringing that up because Florian literally died the last.
Alex looks at Gus, looks at Connor, pulls a ring out of his pocket, slips it on Connor's finger, and sprinkles some dust over it, and he's invisible. That was the special spell slot brick.
Oh, okay. Roll percentile dice.
Metal is 10's 10.
So this is you casting the invisibility spell?
Yeah.
Fireball.
Be a
centered on us.
29.
Okay. You let the magic loose into the ring, and Connor becomes invisible. And usually you discharge magic like that, especially with a spell like this, which you're applying to another target. Invisibility doesn't require concentration, does it?
I think it might. Yeah, it does.
Okay. So the idea is you let the magic loose, and then you have to focus on keeping the magic active. And the sensation of doing that just usually requires concentration. It's like focusing on reading a book. It's not usually more stringent than that. But for some reason, you develop a terrible headache right behind your eyeballs, and you begin to feel slickness down your lips, and you reach up, and you realize your nose is bleeding, and your eyes are tearing up really, really badly. For the next hour, you have disadvantage on perception checks as you are plagued by headaches and nosebleeds.
Connor is still wearing the boots, I believe, so...
Yeah, you
know,
like
super
super
quiet.
stealth arms of stealth.
Connor, make me a stealth check as you come around the corner.
Do I do it at advantage?
Yeah, you're invisible.
Alright. That is a 26.
Okay. As you come around the corner, you see a four-way intersection up ahead. However, just before the intersection, and this is made out of the new kind of stonework that I described, but before the intersection on the right-hand side here is an open doorway, and it is from this doorway that torchlight is spilling. And standing here for a moment, what's your passive perception?
14.
You think you can hear the sounds of faint snoring from inside the room.
Let's go up. And telepathically, he says to Gus, I hear snoring.
Looking in the room, it looks like a small makeshift barracks. There's 2 cots up against the back wall, a footlocker in each corner, and in each of the cots are sleeping a dwarf. There are sets of dwarven plate armor meticulously set out next to each bed. Next to one bed is a large warhammer, and next to the other one is a greatsword, and next to both of them are heavy crossbows. Looks like these are palace guards off duty.
Yeah, and he will relay that to Gus telepathically.
Mm-hmm.
What is Gus's reaction to just hearing Connor's voice in his head?
I just think it's the message spell.
Fair enough.
The question
Message.
is, would I kill the same player 2 weeks in a row
Yes, you would.
in the same way?
I mean, Brickroad's thirst for blood is very,
But
very
here's the
well known
thing.
and documented.
I have cure wounds this time.
Uh-oh.
Here comes the D8s.
Also, you have more than 25 hit points maximum.
A little more rigid
So what's next?
than Florian. Peeking the intersection here.
Okay. To your left, you see the path go down about 20, 30 feet maybe, and turn back to like the old dwarven stonework. You see one of the stone rolling doors on the right-hand wall, and then the path curves around a corner to the south. Looking north, and this is still relatively new stonework, the passage leads to a T-junction about 20 feet away. And looking to the west, the passage leads to another T-junction, again, about 20 feet away.
So there's new stonework to the north and to the east.
Yes, so this is new, this is new. This is new for about 20 feet, and by the time you get to here, it would be old again in front of this rolling stone door. You also see flickering lights from this direction.
And Connor is keeping in contact with Gustavus about what he's seeing, and he's going down more flickering light.
Okay, you get to this T-junction here, and it turns to the north. You have ahead of you what looks like a small chamber with stairs leading up. The stairs, this room looks very well maintained. It's not dingy or dirty like some of the other rooms you've come through. And the stairs lead up for about 20 feet and then start curving to the left in a spiraling pattern. And again, you can see torchlight from coming down those stairs. To your right-hand side, here, I keep pushing caps lock instead of tab because I'm the best man. Here is a heavy oak door, and there's a torch sconce on either side with a lit torch.
Okay. With that, Connor's gonna make his way back. They're still sleeping, I'm assuming?
Oh yeah, unless you disturb them.
Nope. And yeah, Florian will relay. Connor will relay what he saw to everyone very quietly. Mentioned that there are probably going to be guards to deal with, but there are stairs leading upward with a flickering torch.
Can you close the door to the room with the guards so they wouldn't hear us?
Oh yeah, you could pull the door closed.
Yeah, all right. Connor will do that.
Okay, you very carefully pull the heavy door closed and carefully release the knob so it doesn't make a sound as the latch catches.
Loudest creak you've ever heard as the door closed.
No, it's dwarven craftsmanship. This is a well-maintained door.
All right, let's check everything down at this level before we head up.
That sounds like something an adventurer would do.
We don't have to head up. And this is clearly investigation.
Stop there,
Alright,
Connor. On that exact square that you didn't step onto a moment ago. And make me a dexterity saving throw.
Hey, I'm proficient in these. This will be good, right, guys?
I believe in you. You've been on.
Oh, wow, yeah, it was a 24.
24. Where's your destination? Are you moving towards the stairs from here?
Yes.
Okay. You go to move towards the stairs, creeping along, and your boot catches a tripwire, and you manage to not trip over it. So right now you're standing on one foot. You have a boot slightly lifted off the ground that you've detected this tripwire, and looking down, you don't have a light source, so you can't actually see it, but you know that it's there.
Connor stands very still. No one can see him.
I have to step away for 1 minute. I'll be right back. My apologies, I received a text message I could not ignore. What were we doing?
You were about to kill.
My brand new PC, who I'm rapidly falling in love with, and you just can't wait to kill him.
My brand new boots.
Oh yeah, I should have given you disadvantage on that saving throw because you're wearing unfamiliar boots.
No, no.
Is that how that works?
Yeah, that's how that works. What's next?
Connor is standing very, very still.
Okay. And you're pretty sure you can safely retract your foot without tripping the wire, but without a light source, you're not going to be able to actually see the wire, dark vision or no.
Yeah.
Or unless you get down on hands and knees and actively investigate inch by inch.
Gus whispers, Connor, where you at, buddy?
Tripwire.
Okay.
Connor points into a direction that no one can see.
I was about to say.
All right. Alex pulls out some old stone coins and puts a candle light infusion on each of them, 5 feet worth.
Okay.
And he holds this down at ground level as he moves forward.
Moves where?
I was investigating this way.
And let me make sure.
There's one for Connor. It's just left on the ground. You can pick it up.
Up through this way. This T-junction. To the right, let me get my little hand so I can grab my revealer. To the right, the tunnel leads to the north, and it starts looking very old again. And you can see a doorway on the left-hand wall. And then again, you can see where stairs would start going upward, but they've long since collapsed and are filled with rubble.
Okay.
To your left from the T-junction, it opens up into a larger room. However, the entrance to the room, it looks like something blasted through this wall. Like chunks of stone and rubble are everywhere. This isn't just regular... Dwarven-made catacombs wouldn't just fall apart on their own. They wouldn't just crumble. Something with great force or explosive power destroyed the wall into this room.
Is that recent, or is it just that that's how the entrance was made at some point in the past?
No, I mean, it looks like it would have been a solid wall on either side at some point, but at some point in the long, long past, something blasted through here.
And it looks like it's the old stonework beyond that blast?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it looks like the old stonework just about where you're standing now.
Okay. I'll head back down. That's all old stonework. I'm expecting if we find something, it'll be in the new sections.
Okay, what's next? Everybody has an idea?
I'm thinking it's like got the tripwire. That seems like the obvious place to go, but
Yeah, I kind of want to check the two places with doors if Connor wants to move a little bit up the stairs invisible and give us a quick whisper if something shows up. We can hopefully catch a tripwire if we just have some light against it.
Everybody's trying to get Connor killed. That's what I'm hearing. I know I am.
Listen. Do you want me? If you'll let me, I'll sub Birdie in right now. But otherwise, I'm staying way the hell away from these tripwires.
Alex is gonna go ahead in that direction then.
Okay.
The coin down at low level, keeping an eye out for tripwires.
What's your passive perception?
14.
If Connor hadn't told you there was a tripwire here, you would not have seen it. I mean, even getting down with the candle, it's virtually impossible to see. But you eventually do start making them out. And you see a couple of them crisscrossing back and forth between these two squares.
Uh-huh.
A couple dozen of them, actually. Quite a lot. And what's your passive arcana?
18.
What's your passive arcana with advantage, actually? That would turn into a 23, yes?
Right. I only have... Oh, wait. I currently have -5 on my passive perception from the...
Passive perception. This is arcana.
Yeah.
Because the headaches and the nosebleeds are still there.
Yeah.
Being a Svorfneblin from the Underdark, you actually, now that you can see the tripwire, they've been pointed out, and you get real close with the light, you find a few of them. This isn't just like a regular wire strung. This is a type of spider silk used by the drow. The purpose isn't mechanical. The purpose isn't like you put pressure against this wire and then it triggers like a boulder to fall on your head. This is spider silk that can be woven with magic to set off some sort of magical energy. And it would not be possible to detect with your feet unless you were wearing magical boots. Nobody else would have got a save against that except Connor.
Let's move back. Okay, those are just drow magical tripwires. That doesn't seem like the right path to me, but also, what?
There's a drow. It could be. We might be behind the Journey's friend. Because remember, she was. Yeah.
I still think that those two doors close to the stairway up are the best chance to the king's interred at this level. So I think we should go ahead. But just be very careful and take a very good look at the ground, and I'll say roughly where it is. Can I...
As long as, from what you guys, because you and Connor both checked it out, as long as you avoid these two squares, you can safely move over the wire.
So I shouldn't have any problem just like...
Yeah, you can shoulder your way around this corner.
And get my way up there.
or you'd have to leap across the 2 squares.
Okay. I want to investigate this door for traps.
You don't actually have to, because now that you know the tripwire there, you can see a strand of this drow spider silk has been placed along the corner of the floor all the way to your feet and underneath the crack of this oaken door.
So opening the door would break it?
It looks more like tripping the tripwire would cause magic to go off in this room.
Okay. Do I think I can open the door without tripping the tripwire?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Hi, Connor. Can't help but notice you're getting behind me.
And he's invisible and inaudible.
That's true. You're right. Dang.
It's a small storeroom. There's some shelves against the wall with some odds and ends on them. Some barrels, some casks. A small amount of provisions that look like they were hastily assembled in one corner table of the room down here. In the back of the room, you see a stack of barrels that look like they've been moved in such a way to create a visual barrier here. So you can move back behind the barrels, but you can't see what's on the other side of them from the doorway.
That seems really suspicious with all these traps. Do I just want to get a mirror in there? It sounds like nobody else is doing anything.
They're waiting for you to...
Yeah, Alex is lost in thought trying to figure out a way to get through this. Let's go ahead and... Let's go ahead and roll a coin to this point.
Okay. The idea is to roll it past the barrels?
Yeah.
And you do. You roll the coin. And it rolls past the barrels against the wall and then falls over onto the ground.
Okay.
From the ether, you hear Seeker go, "That wasn't a gold coin, was it?"
No, I have all these stone coins from Drudalf. I've been using them for all sorts of things. Believe me. Well, let's just... I'm going to investigate for traps as I'm going. Like, I'm going to check each square before I step onto it, but I'm going to move to here.
As you move to there, you hear a voice from the corner of the room that says, "That's far enough." It's a man's voice, and it has elven inflection to it.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't see who spoke until you actually come around the barrels. But the voice told you not to move any further.
Okay. Well, I'll stop when they say that. So I guess I'm, like, what, here?
You would be, like, right up against the barrels here. Because you're going to come around them, yes?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And that's where he would have stopped you.
Do we hear the voices out in the hallway?
No, the voice is speaking very, very low. So Alex can hear and nobody else can. You very nearly got the drop on me. Flumph Inc., I take it?
Yeah. You one of the local shroud that's been causing problems working with Journey?
And he chuckles to himself. Believe it or not, we're not working at cross purposes. We both want the king's death revealed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have to kill you.
I don't want to have to get the guards down here, because I think even if you could kill all of us, that would make a lot of noise, and there's two right behind us.
He tells you to come around the corner, but to move slowly, and he does not want to see a weapon in your hands.
Okay. I'll do that. Holds his hands up.
And back behind the barrels, in this little kind of nest that he's made for himself, where he's perched up on an upturned barrel.
Mm-hmm.
And you're a member of Yalari, so you know enough about elven magic to know that elves never really sleep. They kind of go into this trance, this like freaky state where they just kind of sit there and meld with the universe or whatever dumb elven shit they get up to. During which they have some awareness of the world around them. And it looks like that's what he was doing in here.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a drow. ashen gray skin, and he has straight hair tied up behind his head, wearing black leathers, and he's holding his hand out towards you, his right hand, which is balled into a fist, and he has his left hand gripped around his wrist, and you see a mechanism there that, as an artificer, no need to be coy about it, he's got poison darts trained on you.
Yep.
He tells you that he wanted to kill one or all of you a long time ago, but Journey stayed his hand. Be sure to offer her your gratitude next time you see her.
Fair enough.
Which will be at her coronation, yes?
We gotta see how which way the crown falls, I guess.
And his lips curl into a frown, and he gives you the stink eye, and he kind of reaffirms his grip on his wrist. It's not the answer that I wanted to hear, friend.
Look, like you said, we're not working cross purposes right now. So let's just figure out where how to get the king's body out into the open and go our separate ways.
He tells you that guards are positioned here. You're directly underneath the palace cellars, in a place where you're also very near to a path into the sewers. Typically, guards would not be stationed down here. Once in a while, monsters can creep in through various entrances of the Undercity. But for the past few weeks, guards have been stationed here. He's waiting for a shift change. Usually around the time of... There's 3 shifts a day. The next one should be around the evening meal. He happens to know that one of the guards working this evening's shift is blind in his left eye. He's going to use that advantage during the shift change to take out the 2 guards, to incapacitate them. And because he can't think of any reason why they would station guards way this down deep in the catacombs unless they were hiding the king's body here.
So you think the body is on a level above us?
He says he thinks the body is no more than 30 feet away. He tells you the guards are stationed just inside the door that leads over to the sewers, which would be on the other side of his tripwires behind this door. At shift change, the guards will come down the stairs. One of them will trip the wire as he walks through to tell the sleeping ones to cycle upstairs. Those 2 move upstairs. The 2 who are on duty move into the barracks. The 2 that came down, the fresh ones, move into position. As those last 2 are moving into position, that's where he's going to take them down. They won't even have time to call for help. And there's something in his voice that tells you that he intends to kill these people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what say you? Shall we sit here and be friends in silence for the next few hours? And then take the good news to the people of Dunfoss together?
I think I'll have to confer with my companions for that.
He asks you if you're not a man that can make a decision for himself.
Oh, I quite can.
Then he's asking for your opinion. Would you like to sit here in silence as friends for a few hours, and then return the good news to the people of Dunfoss together?
I'm not in much mood to kill any guards today.
He tells you that he's fast enough that you won't have to.
I mean, Alex shrugs at that and just says, well, nice meeting you.
As you turn to move, he says, I did not give you leave to move. I like you right here where I can see you. Nice and careful. I assume you have some way to speak with your companions into their minds? A form of telepathy? A sending? A message?
No, didn't prepare anything like that today.
He says, very well. And without lowering the poison dart gun attached to his wrist, he takes one of his elbows and knocks twice on the barrel next to him. And a mouse sneaks out from the corner. This little mouse covered in black fur with bright red, beady eyes slinks up next to you. He says, tell my friend what you'd like to tell your friends.
I'll tell them to get into this room quietly and close the door behind them.
And then you hear the drow speak in mouse to the mouse. And the mouse skitters off, and you guys out in the hallway watched Alex very carefully move his way around this corner. And then about 3 minutes later, a little black mouse comes around the corner towards Lucius and sits down on its back haunches. Mice actually have haunches. And starts chittering something. And Lucius, somehow, even though you don't speak mouse, you can understand the words that it's saying, and you recognize them as Alex's words. He's telling you to come into the room and close the door behind you.
All right. I'll relay that to the others, and then say, shall we? Lucius moves to step very carefully over the tripwires.
Okay. Yeah, edging your way around the corner is not difficult at all.
Lucius says in a low voice, Alex.
Gus, do you leave the door open or closed when you come in?
I pull it closed.
Okay. Once everybody's in the room, the drow, and he's speaking a little louder now, so those of you in the room can hear him. He says, I heard your footfalls. I didn't hear the metal creature. Is it laying in wait for me? Indisposed how?
It's back at the barge.
You'll forgive me if I don't believe you. That sounds like a tall tale.
I'm pretty sure you would have heard if Scrappy was anywhere around here.
I know that all reports of your comings and goings in the city of Dunfoss has that creature typically no more than 30 paces in front of or behind.
Well, if I could make him invisible, that wouldn't be the typical reports.
Would be a
Trust
nice,
me, not here.
It would be a nice trick, though. At this, he hops down off the barrel. He asks you, and he asks aloud, speaking to all of you. At the moment, I have a weapon trained on your friend Alexander. If I lower it, you will do the same, yes?
Certainly.
I don't have my weapon drawn currently, so...
Florian?
Florian's dead.
Who's the other man with you?
Does he actually know there's a man there? Because he's invisible and silent.
Oh, that's right, he's silent. Well, then he asks where Florian is.
Yeah. All right.
Florian's dead. He was killed by the skull creatures on the at the entrance we came in.
I'm sure Journey would offer her condolences. And then he relays the same information he told Alex about his plan and what he intends to do. There's going to be a shift change. 3 sets of guards are going to switch positions. The one that's coming in this evening has a bad eye. He's going to get the drop on them, kill them both, and find out what they're guarding in a secret room in between the catacombs and the sewers. And he thinks it's the king's body.
Gus says nobody's dying tonight. There's been too many people dying already.
Florian died tonight.
Yes, and that was too many. I will not let you kill anybody else down here.
He seems amused by the comment, but he doesn't challenge it. Is that the intent? Is everybody's going to sit here and wait for the shift change?
We don't have any way to talk amongst each other without this guy hearing us, right?
Not unless you leave the room, and he would find that highly suspicious. I will give the party an insight check on him, though. As you're conversing with him, and as he lays out his plan. I'll let one of you roll it at advantage.
It's not going to be me because I have a -1.
Oh, +0.
That is a 12 from Gus.
Okay.
You rolled that at advantage?
Wait, I thought everybody got to roll.
No, the party gets one roll, and you just rolled it.
Sorry, I apologize. I misheard that.
No, sorry. I was muted. I was saying, I have a +7. I have a +7.
Then McDohl.
I was muted. Sorry.
Let him roll it then.
I literally heard everybody gets a roll, and one person gets to roll at advantage. That's what I heard.
So a 12, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
a 12. And
Seems like
that's-
a very dangerous man, and he's a drow besides, and there's nothing good has ever come of dealings with the drow. So over the course of the next few hours, are we just sitting tight?
I imagine at some point, the invisibility spell just fades off of Connor.
Most
Yeah,
likely.
It lasts an hour.
Yeah.
It's like I figured,
After
like,
the first hour, your headache clears, by the way. And, yeah, when the invisibility spell fades, his hand snaps back up, this time with the dart trained on Connor.
Easy.
Sounds like you're violating the. Looks like you're violating the agreement there, buddy.
Who are you?
Connor.
Was the plan to ambush me, then?
Well, if the plan was to ambush you, I think we would have done it already. No, we're agreeing to the plan. We would have done it sometime before the invisibility spell wore off. But something about too many lives lost today.
How heavy is that door?
The oaken door coming in?
Yeah.
It's a relatively well-maintained door. I have no idea how heavy it would be if you took it off its hinges.
Do I think it would make a lot if we made noise in this room? Do I think it would immediately alert people, or do I think it's
Depends on the nature of the noise. Like a regular conversation, almost certainly not. If you set off a bomb,
yeah,
like if you set off like a booming blade or something. Connor inquires to the rest of you why you didn't tell him you had an invisible companion who entered with you.
you didn't ask?
Connor was going to say that. Well, you didn't ask.
Alex spends like 2 minutes looking at Connor, thinking something very intently, which is, can you hear? Does this work both ways?
How does that work? Hold on.
No, it's one-way telepathy.
Oh,
I do
okay.
have detect thoughts, though. That's the point of the feat. It gives me telepathy and it gives me a use of detect thoughts. But he's not using it.
At some point over the next few hours, the man introduces himself as Kendruis, by the way. There's no R, it's Kenduis, not Kendruis. I don't know why I said Kendruis. Kenduis. Kenduis has lots of very nuanced, but also radical political opinions about Dunfoss.
You and every other person here in this city seems.
Well, that's the thing, is most people's political opinions in Dunfoss are neither nuanced nor radical. Kenduis is infatuated with Journey. This becomes apparent relatively quickly. And he is very intent on seeing her sit the throne.
So while we're waiting, Alex is trying his best without letting the drow know, which he's pretty sure is going to be impossible, to get any agreement from his friends that we should just knock this guy out and leave him here, because I don't feel like killing any guards today.
Well, I guess I'll ask that then. Is there going to be an attempt to disable Kenduis? Because when the time comes and one of the guards touches his tripwire, he's going to know it's a game on.
Uh,
I don't know if I can have anything that can non-lethally kill him. Like I haven't-
non-lethally kill him. Good job.
Yeah. I have a club. That might do.
So yes, we are gonna jump him in some way.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just.
I mean, what's it sounds like everybody except Lucius is at least on board. Lucius?
I would rather not beat this guy up or kill him, but I mean, if that's the other.
Not gonna kill him. Just beat him in unconsciousness. It's fine.
So who sets off the festivities? Let's put it that way.
Okay. Is there enough room for me to Misty Step on top of him, like and land on like Misty Step?
I'm gonna
above
say
him,
no
or-
because I would bet a buffalo nickel the spell says an empty space.
Okay, let me see. What it says.
Excuse me.
Yes, you are.
I-
That was a good bet, sir.
Yep, unoccupied space. Yeah, as you can see. And he is in this space.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, he's moving back and forth between the space there and Alex because there's a row of barrels that he's moved to make sure that there's no eye line from the door to where he was hiding.
I do want to hear him talk though about his political opinions.
And he does at length.
He's infatuated with Journey.
The
He'll do anything to see Journey sit on the throne.
the gist of it, because I've lost track of time and it's 7:00 now, but the gist of it is that he and Journey are in agreement that magic is too powerful a force to be allowed to be used by common people. And when he says common people, he doesn't mean like not the nobility. He means people who are not intelligent enough to use it properly.
I mean, Alex is all about casting magic weapon and giving this hammer a try. So basically, I think about an hour before the shift change, he'll have heard enough, assuming everybody else is on board.
Okay.
I'd rather knock this guy out than have him kill a couple of guards.
Well, then we will call it there for the week. And when we pick it up next session, we'll find a way to also stick Seeker in this room, perhaps. So let me save this table. Where am I saving it? Here.
I mean, he's a gnome. We could just stack the gnomes on top of each other. Alex has got a trench coat. They could pretend to be one person.
Well, it'll be fine then, because Seeker will be here next week, but Treble won't be. Because he'll be dead because I'm going to murder him. All right, so I'm going to take 2 minutes and add up some experience. Why don't you guys be talking about your blips, and I'll be back in just a minute.
Oh, I gotta erase all of Florian shit. None of this is true.
Oh no.
Okay, who was the most creative?
Hmm.
I'm going to say I'm going to say Alex for his continuous like quick thinking and not letting these words be spoken in our in Brick Road's just desperately wanting us to fight the evil wall from Final Fantasy IV.
All right. And who furthered the party's goals the most today?
Lucius for just continuously getting like for stopping me from and I'm assuming also Connor from killing.
The gnome.
Yeah,
No, Connor wanted to kill him,
I know, but you
but
didn't.
he was, which actively goes against his flaw. But it's neither here nor there.
Real talk. We can go back. We can come back later.
Yeah.
It'll be a bonding experience between our characters.
And it was a badass today.
Connor for stepping up and putting the boots on and doing the thing that got Florian killed the very next session with his brand new character. Didn't even let the ink hasn't even dried on his character sheet, and he was ready to lose it all again.
All right,
All right.
tangible.
Me for shaking the gnome.
Who wants some experience points?
I do.
All right, everybody can have, for the Scorpion encounters, 625 experience points. That's for 3 big scorpions and a bunch of swarms. And there are other monsters down here that you have not encountered yet.
God
Called
willing.
dwarf monsters. That's just mean.
Let me erase last week's blips. And erase Florian from the blip sheet forever. And
Forever.
erase Treble from the campaign.
You didn't like my two gnomes in a trench coat joke? Oh.
Maybe if you repeat it a few more times, you might think it.
Who wants to make a
Filling
case
your
for
socks.
some blips this week?
I can go.
Okay.
Unless I'm kicked out of the campaign. So anyway. Neutral good. I must be a benefactor and strive to leave things in a better state than I found it. For the fact that when this is over, I'm going to come over and murder this. I have decided that I'm going to kill this gnome. Because you can't make abominations and leave them in a spot where they can wander in the street and kill people.
Sure you can.
You can, but you're not supposed to. I think that's a social faux pas.
The king told
What
him
do you
to.
think? Yeah, what are you, the king or something?
Ideals, my companions are my support structure, and I must do what I can to protect them from themselves. For my reaction, for this gnome being responsible for Florian's death and getting catharsis out of shaking him repeatedly. And the video, and that's it.
I think Gus is responsible for Florian's death.
Gus also feels partly responsible for Florian's death.
So
you don't have to.
Maybe Gus is projecting a little bit.
I am projecting a little bit, but also he is actually directly responsible for Florian's death because he put these abominations in the bottom of a tailor shop that he had put there to murder servants who were sneaking in and out of the castle because it bothered him.
And then you told Florian to go first.
No.
Who's next?
I didn't.
Connor
I
will
don't-
go.
think I
Connor,
did.
you're going to have to actually tell us what your various traits
Yes.
are.
His alignment, neutral good. Good acts exist beyond the realms of order and chaos. For letting the party decide what to do with the very evil gnome that deals in monsters and should absolutely be destroyed. But they were all like, "Yeah, there's too much killing today." Whatever. Ideals. I must warn everyone of the very real dangers of Fae and fiends and Fae and undead and Fae and monsters.
That's a good one. I like it.
For starting to get into it in a very dangerous area about the very, very dangerous Fae that are around, who are definitely by far the worst of the lot.
But aberrations are okay.
No, they're bad too. It's just Fae are worse.
It's like his hit list is Fae, fiends, aberrations.
That's
Two Fae wearing a trench coat.
flaws, subtlety, and diplomacy are not in my lexicon. For just letting the invisibility spell fade and getting up in his grill. Like, if we wanted to ambush you, we already would have done that. Like, chill.
And then we're gonna ambush him next week.
Okay. And it does seem like if you were going to ambush him anyway, you should have done it when one of your guys was invisible. Like,
Invisible, yeah.
Yeah, that's on me.
who's next?
I'll go.
Okay.
Lawful neutral, always be willing to take the law into your own hands, but no further for not wanting to kill the gnome, for not letting people just murder this gnome. And then flaw, I'm sure we can handle this for deciding. But on the other hand, we can totally murder this drow.
Well, the difference is one's a gnome and one's a drow.
Like I don't get the reluctant. I think there's a bit of racism going on here on Alex's part.
No, drow actually deserve to be killed. Drow are the worst. Well, illithids are the worst. But is that it for Alex?
Yeah.
Okay, who's next?
That's me.
Oh, you're the only one left.
Yep. I've got my alignment, lawful neutral, take your place in society and work well for your fellow people, take care of your own, for insisting that Gustavus not shake the gnome at every turn that he possibly could. Like, listen, it sucks that Florian died, but we got a job to do here, and you bullying this gnome is not going to get it done.
Made me feel better.
Okay.
I've got my and then I've got my flaw. Actually, no, that's all I got. Just that. I'm sorry.
All right. We award one book for the most creative solution to a problem this session. Who was that?
That was Alex in his efforts to prevent you from making us fight the evil wall from Final Fantasy IV.
I actually wrote out the magic words. And then, like, and if somebody stops the magic words from being spoken, they don't trigger the trap. So, well done. Who furthered the party's goals the most?
That was Lucius and his continuous stop shaking the gnome. They were both kind of, but like I think Lucius was a little more like less you're being cruel to the gnome and more we need this gnome to kind of do it. So Lucius.
Yeah.
Who was the badass?
Connor, for putting those magic boots on and doing the same thing that got his previous character killed before the ink on his character sheet has even dried.
It's pretty good. And we give one for intangibles.
I think Gus for shaking the gnome.
Is that what we were doing?
Like, nobody agreed or denied, and I'm like,
Oh no, that's it. I thought we
it's like,
all in agreement.
like the double act was really good. Not gonna lie, it's just Lucius was not a fan of it.
Okay. And if I can get Google Chrome open here.
No.
Oh, I clicked the wrong show results. There we go. Connor
Memory leaks.
takes the straw poll, probably because he's a brand new character. Would be my guess. All right, so Lucius, you came into the session with 3 blips, yes?
Yeah.
You earned
yeah.
2. Are you just going to go in next week with 5?
Yeah, because I had to burn blips to level up last time.
Okay, Gus, you have everybody else has to roll theirs over except Connor. You earned 5, so you're at 5. Alex and Gus, you have to roll all yours over. Alex, you earned 3. Gus earned 4. And blips right now are worth 466 experience. And when we pick it up next week, we will ambush the drow, which I'm sure will go fine. I'm sure nobody will get horribly poisoned. And then we'll see about this maybe dead king. See everybody next Sunday.
Maybe. Later.